Hey, what's going on, Eagles family? I wanted to hit the Sounders. I wanted to do everything that was right, but watching the last 6 minutes of that game, you got my reaction. We had opportunity seized from right under our hands. What's going on, everybody? This is Eagles Talk post game show, and this is your boy Pat Salen. As you can see, I'm here solo dolo by myself and you guys. Dante's out on assignment, so is my brother Shelman. And I'm bringing you my opinion on this show. Normally, when you watch a post game show after the Eagles loss, you see me, you see I look pissed. I look upset. I look so enraged and so engulfed that my black skin turns red. I'm all that in some. It is not because of the reasons you would think. With that being said, let's start this.
You're now listening to the
I was so freaking close to drinking today. So my October is about to be over with this 4 touchdowns by a rookie receiver. How in the entire do you not double cover this guy after you realize that he's the only one beating? All right. Let me throw some stats at you right now. Chase Claypool had 7 receptions for 110 yards with 3 touchdowns, and he had a rushing touchdown. All right. He was the only one scoring touchdowns today. It wasn't James Conner. It wasn't Juju Smith Schuster. It wasn't Ray McLeod, even though he had a 58-yard run. It was Chase Claypool. And yet, in the final, on the third down and 8, you have an opportunity to get the ball back to your offense, which is actually doing well after a turnover. You go into a stupid zone and leave your coverage linebacker that can't cover, Nathan Gary, sole responsibility in his zone area to cover the middle of the field. And Ben Roethlisberger saw that and laughed. He said, "Go." He did this. Ladies and gentlemen, I said it before. I'm going to say it again. It's time for Jeffrey Lurie to come down from his high horse and fire Jim Schwartz. No way in the hell do you have a linebacker that can't cover, try to cover the hottest guy on the field besides our Travis Fulgham. That makes absolutely no sense. It's a doggone shame, and it's a disgrace to all of us Eagle family that we have to go through this mockery game in and game out. I understand the turnover from Carson Wentz. They wasn't on the same page, and he threw the ball where Zach Ertz gave up on the play. He should have ran through that little contact. All right, we came back from that, and we were rolling. We were rolling. Carson Wentz got into a rhythm with the offense, in particular with now our new number one receiver, Travis Fulgham. This kid has a future right now with us. Things need to change drastically, or this season is a total loss. I know people are saying, "What are you talking about, Pat? The same season is already lost. You won 2-1. Well, now we won 3-1. All right, and we gotta listen to this for the next week. How terrible all facets of the game has been. The penalties is a thing they call hold your water. When you're on when you're a defensive player, you practice, especially on the line of scrimmage. You practice watching that ball on the line of scrimmage so you don't jump off sides. Get you one time. Okay, I understand that. Come on now, 3, 4 times. That's utterly ridiculous. That's undisciplined. You're undisciplined to the aspect of playing the simple game of football. I know injuries are a part of the game, and we did get some guys banged up this game, but that is no excuse for all these stupid, idiotic penalties. Now, in the beginning of the first half, we had these little touch penalties, these little crappy calls. In the course of a football game, you're gonna have calls that makes absolutely no sense. Like the pass interference call on Darius Slade, the first one, that made absolutely no sense. They were hand fighting, therefore, and the ball was completely uncatchable. That should have just been a no call. You know what? Sometimes you gotta sit back and look at this. Look at what it is. We're terrible on our defensive front. Our defensive line is okay, but our freaking linebackers, man. Even though we had a turnover, even though they look good here and there, our linebackers just not pursuing to the ball. I know. This season is far from over, but the way Jim Swartz just gave that game at the end of the game, you gave that to them. Call a timeout. If you're a defensive captain, you see that alignment, and this goes to my safeties, McLeod. McLeod, there's no reason for you to go towards your quarter. Um, um, if you see that their main target is lined up on the slot, you know from the instant he's going to the seam. That's common sense, 101. Either call a timeout or you slide your butt open and disregards your area. Let's go to the first comment in the chat room. And I know there's many out there. We're all pissed off. We're all upset. Um, and you're rightful so to be upset. As Eagles fans, we have a right to be upset. We have the right to be angry. We have the right to demand things from this team to be better. Because right now they're not doing what we need as fans, what we demand as fans. Uh, Justin Nikolai, I'm pissed to F. Yes, we are all like that. Daphne Nicole, Fried Jim Swartz, Jeremy T. Smith. Yes, that is. That is. The defense is trash. Jeff Warmack, Jeff Fisher, Jerry Fisher, I'm sorry. Gary's a hot power dog. Yes, he is. Listen, I'm all for the moral victories, Omar. We fought the good fight, but at the end of the day, we had opportunities. We had more than one opportunity to turn that game around, and we didn't take full advantage of it. Fred, if I can get this one up, we should have called a damn timeout on the last seat. Yes, of course. Listen, with that alignment, as much as I dislike Jonathan Vilma as a commentator, because he is so terrible as a commentator, he said something funny right. He said, "Oh, they got Chase Claypool in the slot. Watch, they're gonna go right to him up the seam." He pointed it right out. He said, "You don't have a cornerback on him. You have a linebacker on Claypool. Idiots." Touchdown. Go to some new comments. Oh. Patero, pathetic all over. Get Mills and Gary off the field. This is some bull click. Yes. Hey, listen. Mills had a bad game too. Like I said before, he needs to stay at safety because that's where he is. It's what he is. He's a safety. He's not a corner. But in that play where he got beat on that post, Marcus Epps took a bad route toward the receiver. That should have been a tackle right there. Once the ball came to him, he should have been lit up. But the safety took a bad route. But that doesn't excuse Jalen Mills for not getting a hand on the receiver. What happened to our run game? Sanders was playing ball, and Doug just ignored that. Well, you got to understand something. You're playing a Steelers defense that is very tough on the run. When we got that one big run at 74 yards, the rest was going to be very difficult to matriculate that down forward. Jeremiah Evans, do you think we should have went for it on fourth? Doug made the right call. A 57-yard field goal. A 57. So I got Pittsburgh Steelers people that's actually text me who never text me ever. So anyway, that fourth down play, Doug did call the right call, and Jake Adley, 57-yard field goal is well in his range. He pushed it a little bit to the right. He should stay straight up on it. Sometimes you can't second guess that. And just like the game we went to overtime, we wish we had kicked that field goal, but we didn't. So on that fourth down, I think I would have still went for the kick. Turnovers killed us. Well, I mean, in the words of the sense, yes, but I don't really believe it really killed us to the extent that we were out of this game. We were not out of this game after that interception. This offense got hot. We scored 15 straight points. This offense was on a roll right after that interception. We were able to get ourselves back into this game, regardless of the mishaps of Carson Wentz. We were able to matriculate downfield, hitting dink and dank with one receiver. Travis Falcon is he. Listen, to Deshaun Jackson, to Alshon Jeffrey. I think this kid has it better than you guys. I mean, he showed it 2 weeks in a row. 10 catches for 152 yards. He's balling out for the Philadelphia Eagles. Man, where is Dark Knight at? Dark Knight, you know what? He's working. He can't come on. I know, you're Dwight. I know you're talking about where you're hiding at, but listen, it, this game was ours, and by defensive play calling, we were not able to win this game. Um, my other co-host Shelman Salem, my brother, Patrick should have slowed the game down and ran the ball more. All our defense is not aggressive enough. I do agree with that, but at the same time, when you score 15 points in a row and your offensive coordinator, your quarterback, they're on a roll, you go with the play call that's going. Now, when we got the ball back, I do kind of agree that we should have ran the ball more. But that's neither here nor there. They were going to pass the ball regardless in that situation. Philip McCoy, we need the defense to do some serious training, especially linebackers. No, we need new linebackers. We need to throw those rookies in there. Duke Riley got injured at the end. I hope he's all right, but we need to put Sean Tiller in there, Sean Bradley and Devontae Tiller. We need to let these guys roll, see what they got. They can't be worse than what we have already. Christopher Williams, no creativity for the running game. You're absolutely right. There's no creativity. Besides that 74-yard long run by Miles Sanders, it was bland. The run game was bland. The offensive pass game was a little different, but the run game was bland. You know what? I do have to say this. We did have a receiver running wide open on one of the plays that one of the last plays that Carson Wentz got sacked before we tried to kick that 57-yard field goal. Uh, our offensive line is getting decimated. Jack Driscoll was doing the best he could. Jordan Mailata, for even he gave up that one sack, he had a great game. Even with that one sack given up, you didn't hear Bud Dupree's name that whole game into the last few minutes. And for that to happen, he had a heck of a game. Greg Tiller, what's going on, brother? Coaching. The coach needs to do more aggressive and trust Wentz. I think he trusts Wentz a little bit too much, and that's the issue. The issue is, my brother said it. We need to run the ball. We need to commit to run the ball and have our identity. We don't have our identity, and when you don't have our identity, you tend to lean more on your quarterback. And your quarterback, especially when you don't have anybody that really creates more, create for their self, like Travis, and sometimes Greg Ward, because Greg Ward did get open and created some space. We don't have those playmakers to get open with. You literally have these issues. You have these issues with quarterback throwing, 9 interceptions in a 4-game span. Yes, they are coming out the woodwork. I haven't heard from them since 2010. Now they want to come out and say, "Oh, now we this and that." Man, have a seat. I'm gonna put this one up here too. Hey, Jordan Mailata earned that starting spot. He definitely did earn that starting spot. Jason Peters, you can kick rocks right now. I gotta take a drink for that. So what I'm gonna do? I ran it long enough. Been on here for 15 minutes, and I didn't tell everybody to take a drink. I know we're not drinking to a win, but we gotta drink our pain away for this L that we did take on the hands of a bad defensive call. Some mishaps in this game. We had opportunities. We had more than enough opportunities. But this time I got to take a drink to Jalen Hurts had a great pass. Travis Forham had a good pass. I mean, they played a hell of a game. Zach Ertz, I don't know what's going on in his head, but we need Dallas Goedert back ASAP because this guy is not playing up to the standards of a contract extension. He is definitely not playing up to the Travis Kelsey, George Kittle type money. Right now, he's not even playing into the Rob Gronkowski type money, and Rob Gronkowski ain't doing nothing. Gronk ain't doing nothing down there. Let me see this comment by Anthony. The Steelers should have been blown out if Wentz went start running out of the pocket, especially when the O line open up holes and the wide receivers weren't open. Instead of double pumping, just stay there like a deer with headlights. Listen, he is better on the run than he is staying in that pocket. How many positive yards did we get on first down? Obviously not enough. So we didn't do enough. This team is who we thought it was. I'm not gonna be here too much longer. Probably another 15 minutes. But to our Philadelphia Eagles, even though we lost this game, we had some bright spots in this game. We finally found a receiver that we could depend on besides Greg Lewis. Forehand needs a contract extension, and it needs to be put in that starting rotation ASAP. If you bring in Alshon Jeffrey, make sure he's just inactive. Deshaun Jackson inactive. Listen, we've done bad all by ourselves with these guys, and we're playing well with these guys. We got to clean up a lot of stuff. A lot of things need to be cleaned up. But besides that, um, I just got to take a shot of water. For everybody out there that don't know, I am doing sober October, so therefore I'm not drinking. But as Philadelphia, as the Eagles talk, here on our show we drink. So it's hard to do this right now off of off a loss, but have your best adult beverage, which is normally my Jameson is a go-to, and my Stella, and I'm gonna take a shot to Travis Frogo, and that's it. Cheers. 3, 2, 1. Some more questions I'm gonna get to out here. James, I'm sorry, James Edgefield. What are your thoughts about Deuce taking over office OOC duties? They have a brain trust there. They have about 4 coaches helping Doug Peterson make these calls, and Deuce Staley is not one of those guys that help make the calls. He rotates the running backs, and being so that with Miles Sanders now our de facto workhorse, I don't think that's going to work for at this point of the season. Could I be wrong? 100%. 100%. I could definitely be wrong. Juice could say, you know what, coach, it's time for you to focus on actually your head coaching duties and let me take over. You could chime in here and there, but let me do my thing and our offense flourish. But right now, as I see it, I don't think we're going to go that route. We do need an offensive coordinator to take the responsibilities off of Doug Peterson's hands and either give him some feedback and like we had with Frank Wright, or just wholeheartedly be the offensive coordinator. Um, Jason, man, Fulcom needs a nice contract. Kid is a player. Yes, he is a player. He is a player, and I would love to keep him here for several years to come, because we plucked him off a practice squad, man. This kid was, he was drafted by the Detroit Lions, and he was in the practice squad play. So he plucked him. We signed him because our receivers went down like they normally do, and he's been great since he's been in there. Drexel Davis. We'd love to hear sports explanation on the final TD. He's gonna get some. Oh well, we believe in our coverage, and I thought I had the right call, and we gotta do better. Man, shut your. Donovan Brimley. He acts like he's scared to death to run. Yeah, yes. Man. It's almost hard to actually come in to give a wholeheartedly post game show when the opportunities that we had in front of us went by the wayside. Let me go to some more comments because I'm gonna need y'all out there. Yender Sevis, can't pronounce your last name. I don't care what anybody say. Carson played a hell of a game. You know what? Even though he's had 2 picks, he had a rating of 75 before that second pick. Before that second pick, he had a rating of 93, quarterback rating. He played pretty well. We threw the ball 35 times, completed 20. He had an average of 7.4 for 2 touchdowns. He did get in a groove with the offense did get in the groove. But besides that, we do need to start running the ball when things like that happen. Jr. Like Swerves doesn't have game film to watch how much Gary doesn't at all look like a linebacker. He might be good at flag football. I don't think he's good at flag football. Tony Burrell going down under, mate. Did well to get back into the to that one, but although Harvard went down the drain with the Schwartz Gary show there at the end. I totally we all agree with that. Like that show, that's a shit show. Excuse my language. I was trying to hold back, but that was a shit show. You cannot put Nathan Gary by himself to cover the seam with no help over top. That's absolutely ridiculous. That like I said, that's grounds for being fired. Tyler Steven, even if Jake made that 57-yard field goal, they would have lost. Nah, I don't think so. Sean Pigney, Clement and Scott. Have anyone seen these guys this year? Jeez. Well, Clement was in that play where I think Carson got a second sack. It was a play action, and instead of picking up the block, Clement whiffed on him complete the blocking assignment, and he got a sack. Now here come all the Steelers fans. So make sure y'all get after these people here. Bernard Birdman, Dante Johnson doesn't feel right not seeing you on the set. Hopefully you're back next week, but we appreciate you, Patrick. Hey man, listen, we're hurting right now. Dante, I know normally we have my co-workers, co-hosts here, and I could turn red and give you a spell and not focus on putting all the comments up and interacting like that. But you know what? This is a difficult job right here. And especially after a loss like this. So I got about 5 more minutes to be on here. Um, Listen, Hassan Butler, who's Dante's son, we need to call more screens. Our screens, we're averaging about 4 yards per screen. We're not creative on our screens. For some reason, somehow, we're not creative with screens. And again, I need to go back on the just worse thing, man. They ran a diamond formation at the goal line. A diamond formation is when you have one receiver, you have trips, and you put a fourth receiver inside of that trips. 9 times out of 10 in that formation, you're throwing to that receiver that you put into that trips in the back motion because those three receivers are a blockers. Your first receiver blocks left, your inside receiver blocks left, your outside receiver blocks inside, and the receiver catches the ball back, and he has a hole to score, just like they did it perfectly. I learned that in high school. Come on. this 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 is mind-boggling. Like, I mean, after a while, as GM, as an owner, you got to realize the fault of some of these games is not necessarily just our quarterback being inactive. I mean, inaccurate. It's our defensive coordinator not doing what we want him to do, defend the opposite team. We just gave up how many points? We gave up 38 points, and two of those touchdowns could have been neglected. Like, let me go back to some stats. Like I said before, let me say this in the pregame. I said Miles Sanders need to touch the ball about 20, 25 times. He only rushed the ball about 11 times, and it looks like he had 2 catches. So he touched the rock 13 total times. That is unacceptable. That is unacceptable to have your best weapon on offense. Well, your second best now because Travis is becoming your best weapon. But one of your best weapons on offense only touching the ball 13 times. I understand when a guy gets hot, Travis Fulgham, you give the ball to him 10 times. But let's be real. The targets for Fulgham equals the touches of Miles Sanders. You targeted Travis 13 times, which is rightfully so. He was a monster. But your other guy, you need to give him the ball more than 13 times a game. That makes absolutely no sense. And yes, I need to come at Doug Peterson sometimes, but you need to give your guys some reps, get them in them, get them in him a rhythm, so you could keep that defense on its heels. Khalif Marshall, we need Ray Lewis as defensive coordinator. Yeah, you do. We do. I have never agreed with that in my life. Henry Jennings, Wigfall, Donald Stumpfield, aka Pat, Nate Gary. has got to go. Jim Schwartz needs to be shape up. Nah, Jim Schwartz needs to go. Nate Gary needs to be relegated to special teams player. Um, Stacey Chamberlain, somebody needs to be fired. I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. Somebody needs to be fired. Drexel Davis said, "Bring back Juan Castillo. He can't be can't be worse than what we have." Yeah, I agree with you, man. You know what? I got to get some shots out to Jalen Hurts. He had a nice tight spiral. That offensive play call was actually innovative because you didn't. If anybody ever realized that our center Jason Kelsey was split out wide. I don't even know who snapped that ball. Like I gotta go back and look at that. Jason Kelsey was split out wide, and he threw dime, a dime to Richard Rodgers. Um, Carson scored 29 points, but we gave up 38 points. If anybody said Carson will put up 29, anyone would say we would win that game. Al Griffin said, "True. Listen, he did put up 29 points, and you would think putting up 29 points in this day NFL would lead you with victory, but this is Philadelphia Eagles, man. We gave up 500 yards to a passer in a Super Bowl. I know I'm talking about some years back, but again, we turn crappy quarterbacks into Joe Montana. Dante is okay. Sue, Dante is okay. He's on set right now. He has to work, so therefore he can't be here. If he'll be back here either Wednesday or Thursday when we do um, the next Eagles talk show. It's a tough loss. Upon further review, we will have the show announced probably about Monday or Tuesday when we'll be back on either Wednesday or Thursday. Eagles upon further review. I appreciate you guys for chiming in. Now it's time for the root for the Giants to beat the Cowgirls so we can stay in the East, stay number one in the East. This is unbelievable. Uh, listen, Marcus C. Jones said the comment of the day. Gary must be dating the owner's daughter. He might be right. He might be right. All right, guys. For myself, Pat Salem, for my brother, Shell Salem, who's at work, for Dante, who's on set, and for all the Eagles family, listen, man, we love y'all. Be safe. Um, be safe out there. We look forward to next week when we break down this game film and give you a full analysis of what we could have done and what we need to do going forward. If not firing Jim Schwartz is getting rid of Nathan Gary at that linebacker position. All right, guys. To you guys out there, be safe, fly Eagles. Hope we get back in this thing next week, man. I have have nothing else to say. I'm out.
We go live in 5, 4, 3, 2, smash him up.